here with Sergeant First Class Cope. He is here today to talk to us about what it takes to run faster and what he has seen firsthand people struggling with, because he has watched lots and lots of reserves and recruits trying to pass their PT test. Some of them make it and some of them don't. And he is here to talk to us about that today. And he is also my brother, Josh Cope. And I am so excited to have him on here talking to us about this, because I always find the Army PT test so interesting. I love it when he tells me it's coming up, and I love to hear all the details about it. And I know you will too. So let's get Josh on here and have him, Josh, why don't you give us a little bit more detail about what it is you do?
So right now I'm an instructor at the NCOA Academy, the Non-Commissioned Officer Academy. I teach a course called Senior Leadership Course for CBRN. CBRN's chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear. So pretty much we just do a lot of plotting and planning of things. So say there was an attack on a country somewhere, we could plot where the stuff would go if something happened.
All right. And how long have you been in that position? Because I know you've been in the Army for 18 years. So how long have you been in this spot?
3 years in March. I'm already scheduled to go to Georgia after this and go back to the operations section.
Yeah, they move a lot. I know that. And I want to know, so right now in your current position, do you administer the PT tests?
I do a lot of grading of the PT test. I don't necessarily administrate it too much. I just grade the people coming through and how they do that on their form and things like that.
I see. And so tell us about the PT test. I know it's kind of changing right now. You guys are right in the middle of a big change for the PT test, but kind of give us an overview of what's required.
So right now we're still in the 3-event PT test. It's the push-up, sit-up, and the 2-mile run. It's changing over to some weightlifting things and other things like that, but the 2-mile run will still be there.
Do you know why are they making the change? Why are they switching it?
They're saying that the Army PT test that they have now is not really a good assessment of soldiers' actual fitness levels. So they want to make it more real-world type training in order to best be prepared for battle.
And so they're including weightlifting now, kind of like deadlifts. What other?
Right. A total body type thing. You got the knee tucks where you touch your elbows with your knees to your elbows and things like that.
Oh, wow. All right. So just tell us a little bit about your experiences as the person grading these PT tests. Do people struggle to pass?
Well, they struggle all the time with just the 3 events. The main thing is people will train for one event pretty regularly, but they won't train for all 3. So like you got to do your push-ups, sit-ups, and then go do your run. A lot of times people will be burned out by the time it takes to get to the run.
I see. So what do you do to encourage them to pass?
Well, I mean, it's just a requirement for the Army. So that's a big motivational thing right there, just having it be the requirement. And if they're not meeting those standards, it's their own personal will that's going to get them through training enough to pass their PT test.
What is it, do you think, that is missing from their training? Because I know you train a lot, and you have, of course, inspired me a lot in my fitness. And I know how hard you work. What do you feel like they are missing? Like, are they not running consistently enough? Are they not doing the cross training to get that strength? Where are they lacking?
For the reserves, I would say a lot of time is just them not having enough time. They've got their own jobs that they work. They're not necessarily focused on the military, so they'll be just doing their civilian jobs and just come in for 1 week in a month to do PT Army stuff. So they're not necessarily training enough to do those exercises.
Does the Army coach them at all in nutrition guidelines and do they give them anything to help them improve?
For the reserves, once again, they're not necessarily right around the base, but if you're active duty, they got the Army Wellness Center. You can go there and get your body fat tested. You can go get classes on how to cook properly and things like that. But there's a lot of things you can do outside of the Army, like MyFitnessPal, where they track your food intake and things for you to see what you should be doing.
Right. I do love MyFitnessPal. So if somebody failed and they come to you and they're like, so do they have another chance after they fail?
They have 6 months to train and take another test before they start paperwork to process them out of the military.
Oh, all right. So it is highly motivating because it's whether or not they get to keep their job. So that helps. But what if somebody fails and they come to you and they're like, Sergeant First Class Cope, what do? I feel like I've tried everything. What tips would you give them in order to improve to the point where they can pass all 3 portions of the PT test? Even though I know it's changing, but the traditional push-ups, sit-ups, and running 2 miles, what would be your best words of advice to get them results?
I like to train like we fight, so I like to do the push-ups, sit-ups, and the 2 mile run in that sequence. So we'll do some push-ups and some chest-up workouts, then do some abs, and then go for a run, usually farther than just the regular 2 miles. We like to push it out a little bit farther, maybe 3 or 4 miles, and just change it up with some speed work where you do the sprints and then you walk for a certain amount of time, then you sprint again.
Do you feel like they struggle with their pacing?
Pacing is just something you got to get used to. So if you're not running, of course, they're going to be struggling with their pace of what they need to do. You need to know what time you need to run in, and then track that on your PT test.
Right, because I wonder if they're like starting out too fast.
Yeah, a lot of times they will start out too fast, and then they'll get a cramp or something like that. But if they train properly prior to coming in, that shouldn't be an issue.
Right, yeah. So, it's just important to really work on your overall fitness, not, like you said, they focus on one area and they're not able to complete all 3. And I think that goes a lot in line with running because with running, you need to improve your body in more than one way in order to be efficient at it.
Yeah, it's all about your goals and what you're looking to do. What is your reason, your motivation behind running? Is it trying to get healthier? Is it trying to get be competitive? Is it just for fun? What motivates you to get out there and run? Is it your job, like me, where you have to get out there to stay in your position to do it? So motivation to do it is a big key to any type of running that you're going to do.
Right. And just having that competitive spirit often really gets people excited and motivated to keep working at it. What would be one of your biggest pieces of advice to help people push through when your brain is telling you to stop or to slow down? What is something that you do in order to keep pushing through?
I do a lot of tracking. So I have a Garmin watch. I find that to be very helpful in pushing through. A lot of times I'll, be on a long run and want to quit, and I'll look at my watch and see, how much farther I have to go, and then I can just push it out a couple more miles left. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And tracking is really important. And that's something that we covered in the Crush Your Running PR 5-day challenge, is how important it is to be tracking your progress in order to see if you're making those improvements. So I really appreciate you doing this with me today. I know this is something a little bit different for you, but thank you so much. And I know a lot of people will find this interesting and helpful.
Sure, no problem.
All right, great.